The James Whale Radio Show.
To the last in the present series of the James Whale Radio Show. Tonight, the end of the world show. Is it going to be imminent, or do we have a little time? Indeed. Fantastic. That was the New Testament Church of God Gospel Choir, and we'll have some more from them a little bit later on. Now, the end of the world, or tonight, the end of the whale, who knows? Let's look at the evidence. With me is a gentleman called David A. Drew. We'll be talking to in a few moments. If you have any views on the end of the world, the number to call coming up on the screen, there it is, 0532 46 1000. You can call us on that and give us your views on the end of the world. David, welcome to the programme. We talked before, some time ago.
Yes.
And you have since written this book, Stairway to Heaven.
Well, hold it up so everyone can see. It's on sale in the shops now.
Is it?
Can I give that a plug, can I?
Yes, we won't pay you anything now. You've given that a plug.
Stairway to Heaven is a book I wrote...
Just a minute, David. I haven't asked you yet.
I
just want to read a little passage out of this before we go. The Earth as we know it today, this world of ours, is now already on its second time around. Am I right?
Yes.
This is your quote in your book. Yeah. Destruction of the world has happened before. A terrific world war of a scale which is perhaps unimaginable to us today lasted less than 2 days and succeeded in wiping out the Earth's hundreds of millions of inhabitants. Those who survived the original blast found that they could not live and walked the Earth plane for some days or weeks before finally dying a long, slow, horrible, torturous death. I mean, you're telling me that you've actually lived before?
We all have. I have been in existence since the beginning of time, and I always will. But what you've just read there sounds horrific, I hope. It's meant to sound horrific, because the way the world is going at the moment, it's going to happen again.
Were you at the end of the world?
I've always been. I've had many lives on earth and in spirit.
Whilst we're talking about this, David, I want to do one thing. Before you think, well, you know, he's a bit of a crank and it's a bit funny, just look at what we're going to run at the bottom of the screen here. These are the trouble spots at the moment in the world today, not mentioning perhaps what's happening in America and happening over here as well, but these are the main trouble spots of the world today. Everywhere you look, people are killing each other.
Yeah. God gave us this earth, a beautiful garden He put down for us, and put children on to the earth, put children in the garden. And what are we doing? We're blowing each other up, we're fighting each other throughout the various parts of the world that you see at the bottom of the screen now. That's not bad enough.
Run me through, sort of, when we die, what happens? You've come down to earth. God has, you telling me in the book, God has sent you here.
Once again.
Once again. You're not related to David Icke, are you?
No, David Icke is currently doing a tour, I believe, entitled Is Icke Off His Bike? I'm doing a tour, Has Drew Lost a Screw?
Yes. They didn't get any laughs because they're worried, you see. They're worried about this.
You can laugh at this point of the programme. Yeah. A lot of people, of course, have asked me about David Icke because he's had a lot of publicity of late. And I have to say that I don't know the man, I've never spoken to him, so I cannot comment on what he's doing. But of course I do comment on what I'm doing. And I've lived for many thousands of years. In 1954 I entered this earth of ours this time. Once again, sent by God to try and tell people about God, His natural laws, and how to save the world from ending.
Well, I mean, it seems to me, reading your book, David, that you actually say that the world will end because it keeps on ending. And then when we all die, we go to another plane. Some of us go down to a pit, and some of us go up to the next astral plane, or even higher.
Yes. Life for all of us is eternal, whether the earth is here or not. When you die, you live on after death.
Even if I say, look, I'll be glad when I die, I've had enough, I can just go and have a long sleep and that's it.
Well, you can't go and have a long sleep. That's the thing. If you die, James, tonight, tomorrow, next week, next year, or in 50 years' time, and I can say the same thing to all the viewers tonight, I'm a very jolly fellow, you are all going to die. One day will be the end of the world for you.
Hold it there for a moment, David. We're going to come back and talk in a moment. I've got a call, I think, on the line here. George?
Yeah, hello there, James. Listen, this is the President. I'm calling you direct from the White House. Now, there's no need to call me Mr. President or anything. Just treat me like any other normal, run-of-the-mill, most powerful man in the world.
George, thank you very much indeed. It's a pleasure for you to come on the program tonight, I know, and talk to us. I suppose if there is one man who is synonymous with the end of the world, it has to be you.
That is exactly why I wanted to make this call right now. I am not going to be any part of ending the world. People have heard of that great big famous red button that's allegedly going to start the whole thing off. I'm not going to press it. Mind you, I polish it every day. It's very tempting sometimes.
Yep.
But let me give you a solemn promise and assurance. It's really not going to come from me. I want to be remembered as the president who played a great part in this great wave of positiveness the world over.
Yep. Well, George, your red button may be nicely polished, but my black one, of course, is here. Thank you very much indeed for that. One place, of course, I'd like to be, I suppose, if you get near that button, is an underground shelter. Have a look at this.
Whaley goes to town.
Now, let's suppose that the 4-minute warning has gone and that we're all going to dive for cover. Then, of course, there will be certain people who feel they could survive it and they could get through. It occurs to me that they may be looking for role models to repopulate the world. And yes, I think I need to be in on that. Just across the road there, that building with the aerial on top, is the place where the people who are going to repopulate the planet and the people who think they could survive are going to be, should this ever happen. Well, I need to know how I can get a place down here. Obviously, you're all sort of fairly serious. Perhaps someone with a little personality might not go amiss. What do you think?
To get yourself down here, you must be able to offer something. And the people that do come down here are people that hold key positions in the county council, liaison officers from all the other organisations and authorities, like the health authority, the fire, the police, plus the volunteers like Brian, to come and assess the information. And in total, we've got 70 people down here approximately.
So what happens when you're called down here? You can't bring your family with you, can you?
The warning time that we will have that something is going to happen has now been extended to 3 months. This is what they call the warning period.
You've got time to pack a suitcase.
Well, you really have. During this period, there'll be lots of government information being put out to all the people, through the media, through yourselves, on what to do if an attack started. Now, back to my personal question, I would have made sure that all my family knew exactly what to do and that I'd done my utmost to assist them in doing that.
Green mushroom depicts a bomb that's been exploded at sufficient height that it doesn't produce radioactive fallout.
Right, I see.
And the red one is in fact a bomb which is burst at low level called a ground burst, and it's going to produce radioactive fallout downwind of it.
The bigger circles, like you know, it's like having the bullseye on the target there. What are the bigger circles?
The bigger circles denote areas of damage. So within this circle here, there's almost complete destruction, and probably no survival is possible within that area there. This damage ring right the way out here denotes an area outside of which, in fact, no casualties would be expected. And that is where, in fact, your survivors will, in fact, be.
If there are as many nuclear bombs in this one region as you've got here on your board, there's not going to be much point in surviving anyway, because the damage is going to be catastrophic, isn't it?
The damage would be catastrophic, but in fact it's systems that we work for, systems that we volunteer for, will help us recover from that situation.
How long do you see yourself staying down here before you can go out? I mean, you've got canteen facilities, you've got toilets, showers, bedding.
The aim is that the emergency centre should be self-supporting for 14 days. This has been assessed as probably the longest time that anyone, even the public, would be required to remain indoors before they could go outside and get reduced levels of radiation, i.e. the scientific advisors would tell them when it was safe to do so.
I mean, obviously you're going to be looking at the stuff. This is another thing that I could help you in. I mean, thinking about the repopulation of the area.
I don't think that is really covered as in the qualifications we're looking for. I mean, Brian would obviously be looking for someone with a degree, you see.
It brought a smile to Brian's face. I saw that as soon as I put the question.
That's the biologist in me that's smiling now.
OK, well, listen, if I'm not going to be any use in the reprocreation plan, and you don't want any sort of personalities down here, what about cooking? Now, I am a great cook.
We are short of a cook. Now, can you cook?
Oh, absolutely. Watch
Mr. Hull, one volunteer.
Well, there we are. Now, I don't know whether you fancy spending 14 days or 14 minutes with them down there in the bunker, but believe it or not, they also run courses. There's no security on that place. You could walk in off the street. If you write to me, I'll tell you where it is. I really don't care. It worries me slightly that people think they could survive that sort of war. I think that's one of the worst problems. Now, some phone calls. Greg from Glasgow. Hi, Greg.
Hello, James. How you doing? This is Craig from the Hillington Loyal, FTP and Johnny Doyle. What I'd do was, if it was the end of the world, was open a quick corner shop and sell condoms. See how much you could sell.
Well, that's pretty good. Yeah, I think you'd probably sell quite a few. Now, for being very entertaining, we have some of these tickers. Environmentally friendly watches. I'm going to send you one of those, OK? Do you like that?
Aye.
Good, fine. I'm going to send that one to Greg because he's the first call on the show. Olympia from Cardiff, is that right, Olympia?
That's right, yeah.
What would you do if we had a couple? Well, it's not going to be 3 minutes anymore. It's going to be 3 months.
3 months?
I don't think I could do it for that long. I don't know about you.
Oh, I think I could have a go, yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Whereabouts in Cardiff do you... You're not in Tiger Bay, are you?
No, well, not far, actually, not far.
OK, well, next time I'm down there, I'll pop in.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you probably know David, because David's from well, used to be from South Wales.
Oh, what part?
My family are from Merthyr Tydfil.
Oh, right, yeah, not far, not far.
Good, fine, thank you very much indeed. Lovely, Olympia, talking to you. May I, I'll take some more calls in a few moments. May I go back, David, to your book? And am I to take it, really, that you are, if not the Son of God, one of God's disciples sent back to the earth?
Well, I don't like the word disciple. I don't particularly like the word prophet, but people understand these words. I was sent into this world by God, certainly, once again, to tell people. It's a hard job, you know, when you're in spirit looking down on the earth. It's rather like watching a football match from the television.
Tell me what it's like being in spirit.
Well, it is like watching a football match from the comfort of your armchair. Sat at home, it looks so easy, doesn't it? When England are playing, you think, oh, pass the ball, what's the matter with you? Shoot for goal, what's the matter with you? If they say, well, get onto the pitch and play yourself, it's not so easy. And that's what's happened to me. God says, get down there and see what you can do.
Now, during the First World War, you were a spirit.
I was in spirit, 1914 to 18, and it was a very disturbing time because we saw so many people coming over with their life cut short that we had to help.
What sort of, I mean, what do you do? I mean, tell me, I can't comprehend this sort of thing.
Well, this happens all the time, of course. Those in spirit are waiting. When you pass over, there is someone there to meet you.
Yeah.
When you've got hundreds, thousands, indeed millions of people passing over at one time, then we're kept very, very busy. But when anyone passes over to spirit, as you were saying earlier, there's different planes of existence that we go to, up and down.
When you first go, you go to a kind of sorting house, do you?
Well, no. Well, yes, I call it no man's land.
Yeah.
But what I want to say is very important is that it very much depends on how you live this life on earth as to where you will go to afterwards.
This is interesting. I find this interesting. You say, in this life of mine, it is of the utmost importance that I reach as many people as I possibly can in the time I have. The way in which I do this is I go on the television, radio, newspapers, public demonstrations, lectures and things. I mean, if you are from the spirit world, and if you are sent by God, I mean, he can decide when you're going to pop back up there. I mean, you don't have to sort of go through dying and all that sort of stuff, do you? Well, why doesn't God give you your own TV station? I mean,
why don't you give me my own programme?
Well,
this is what, of course, I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I see you've brought a sheep along to
make you feel welcome.
Yes,
yeah.
I thought that.
Yeah.
No, but
being you're from Wales.
I want to get this message across to so many people. This is why I come on programmes such as this and other programmes and radio.
Let me just go back.
We're
going to take a break. We're running out of time a little bit. Why is it that the Lord will not give you what you want? Why have you got to come crawling to me? Why doesn't he say, look, here we are,
no, I don't
David, you have a franchise to operate HTV or something?
No, what God says to me is get onto the earth, tell people how they should live their life. I've got to be God's spokesman on the earth. Here I am.
We're going to come back in a couple of moments. Don't go away. The End of the World Show. Welcome back. What? Excuse me. Yeah? What? Huh? No. Sorry. No, listen, I have... yeah. That's... I could end up in prison. Yeah, okay, well, perhaps I won't. Yeah, okay. Sorry. Special... Yeah, okay, fine. No, I won't be telling you the vicinities of the bomb shelters. I'm sorry. At least not at the moment. Right. Now, Anne Harrison is with me, and Anne is the managing editor, sorry, Arthur, could you take this away? And if, you know, people like that call again, I'm not in, all right? I'm busy. Fine, thanks. Of this new magazine called Bitch, right? Which is sort of a woman's magazine with a difference.
It's a woman's magazine with balls, yes. It's basically
How can a woman's magazine have balls?
How can anybody have balls? I don't know.
Yeah, I know, yes, yeah. We're trying to talk about the End of the World show, really.
Yeah.
Which,
It's, well, interestingly enough, Bitch will be the first humour magazine for women. You know, men have had their private eye, their punch, their fizz, their zit. Women will now have Bitch.
This is going to be a really trashy magazine, isn't it? I mean,
it will be
really
completely
gross.
Trashy.
Yeah. Now, we had you on because you were going to do horoscopes for the End of the World, is that right?
Well, I lied, actually.
I knew you had. I actually thought perhaps you had.
In fact, actually, we do have, in our first issue, we do have End of the World horoscopes for all the sun signs. For example, what the sun signs would do when faced with the end of the world. A Virgoan, for example, would probably make a list. You know, feed the cat, put on clean knickers, die.
You've got 3 months. You've got 3 months. You've got a long time to sort out the end of the world.
Oh, you didn't tell me that.
Yeah, you know, if you're watching, see, in the last report, 3 months now before the end of the world. You can guarantee 3 months' notice.
It's difficult to say. I mean, if I was a sort of Gemini chat show host, for example, I'd probably sort of call
Hang on, while you're just thinking up the next answer, let me just talk to...
let's do that.
James from Glasgow. Hi, James.
Hello, James.
Yes, James.
Look, I'll tell you what I would do.
Yep.
It's the end of the world.
Yes.
Right. There's only one thing.
What would that be?
The Messiah is Richard Gough, right? And what you have to do is
Thank you. Mark from Brighton. How's the south coast tonight, Mark? All right?
Hello, James. Yeah. Firstly, I don't think that anyone would survive a nuclear war to start with.
Yeah.
And...
Well, according to David earlier, they didn't on the first time round, so perhaps they won't this time.
Well, you know, if there was a 3-month warning, I'd just get loads of acid and take it all at once.
You would?
I would, yeah.
Well, I don't think there'd be much point, really, because you'd be gone anyway, wouldn't you? But still, never mind, nice idea. Martin from London. Hello, Martin.
Hello.
Yep.
Yeah, if you had 3 minutes...
Yes.
I'd get me deck chair, me sandwiches and me flask.
Yeah.
I'd go outside and just watch it.
You would?
Well, there's nothing else you can do.
I think I'm with you, actually. I think because... That's a very good idea, because you could sit outside and you could just sort of vaporise together, couldn't you? It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea of that. I like the idea of that. Roger in Fife. Thank you, Martin. Roger.
Hello, good evening, James.
Hello, Roger.
Well, really, I'm quite concerned because I have an auntie. I think, well, she's a little bit eccentric, and she reads a lot of tarot cards.
Yeah.
And a grandmother who's also really quite into tea leaves. And then there's just another friend just down the road that's quite into crystal balls. And they all predict, well, quite a...
There's a point to this, is there?
Quite a cataclysmic kind of thing, you know, just
Yeah.
coming up right soon.
Yeah.
And I believe it's going to be centred, James,
Yeah.
somewhere this weekend in Cheshire, I believe, at Middlewich Folk and Boat Festival.
I think probably the Folk and Boat Festival is a jolly good place to actually centre it. Thank you very much indeed. Now, a little music from Weird Al. Check this video out. You're not going to see it anywhere else, I don't think. It's called Smells Like Nirvana. Thank you very much indeed. That's Weird Al. Did I say Nirvana? Nirvana, of course. Smells Like Nirvana, which is quite appropriate when we're talking about the end of the world. Now, with us, we've got another find on the show tonight with Patrick Fitzmaurice. Patrick is a boffin, and he's worked out what time is and how the end of the world is going to happen. And let's go straight in at the end first. How is the end of the world going to happen?
Well, under normal circumstances, the sun will get hotter and hotter and will swell up when it changes its type of nuclear fusion.
Yeah.
However, and that will, of course, irradiate the world, and it will evaporate.
Yeah. I mean, will we know? Will it be getting hotter like it is now?
Yeah,
or?
this is in billions of years' time.
Is it?
In billions of years' time. However, there is another way.
Yeah.
Space could collapse on itself.
Space could collapse on itself?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Because of what I've worked out is that space it consists of energy.
Move back over there a bit.
Sure.
That's it. You just stay over there.
Space consists of
Keep
energy.
out the flipping way. Yeah, go on.
And what I've discovered is that the universe as we know it exists within the interior of a black hole.
Yeah.
And the best way of working it out, looking at it, is that if you imagine space to be a complete void,
I do.
However small you home into it, it appears to be the same.
We were going to go through all these, but I mean, I don't understand them.
No,
so what
it's
this
very
lot, they can't
complicated.
understand it otherwise. I mean, but you've worked out this way, so you can tell me what time means. Is that right?
Well, yes, quite simply, you consist of particles,
yes.
atoms.
Do I? Yeah.
Now,
I'll take your word for it.
That's right.
Yeah.
No atoms.
Fine.
And you consist of the same particles now as you did a few moments ago.
In fact, a few moments ago is gone, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Therefore, time only exists in the present.
Right. So what we did at the beginning of this show, that's it?
That's gone. It's gone. As time moves forward, it only exists in the present.
Yeah.
The past is extinguished.
Why
and the
are you
future doesn't
holding
exist.
this old bit?
This was to explain about space and how it's curved.
Go on. Yes, space is curved.
Yeah. Well, we all know.
We do.
According to Einstein, that if you go faster and faster, time appears to slow down. But in my model, it's space which is reshaped.
Yeah. How come you hit on this before anybody else?
Simply because I've looked on the universe in terms of energy and space rather than particles.
I don't know why we all didn't think of that in the first place, really.
E equals mc squared, you see. So therefore, you can deal with you can deal with space and energy.
So how will it end? Tell me about, again, how will it... it's just going to go... And we're all going to be drawn in, as if some great big giant sucks in.
No, no. If you imagine that the interior of a proton is exactly the same as a black hole, is exactly the same as a universe. If you imagine our universe to be a particle in a greater universe, if a whole load of them were
hang on, just a minute, Buffin. Just to make it a little easier. Everything we're in, this planet, the stars, the whole could be in a speck of dust in another universe.
It would be, in fact, in the interior of a proton, in a speck of dust.
Yeah. Good. Okay, fine. Hang on just there for a moment, and you explain the audience this. I'm going to go and check out some of the letters from last week's show, all right? You just carry on with that, play the thing. Okay, you just tell them what's all happening. That's it. Hello, back. We are upstairs. It's flipping warm up here, isn't it? Very, very warm indeed. Now, the mail, first of all, I think. We'll do, first of all, the mail. What's that? Do you know, I get really fed up with all this junk mail, the stuff that you get sent through the post, trying to get you to buy stuff that you really... Whoever sends junk mail, if you have a job posting this stuff, you're going to go down to the pits when you go. You're going to end up right down in the pits. Now, some letters from last week. Thank you very much indeed for the letters. William King of Conway in Gwynedd wrote in about last week's programme on being fit or fat. He says, people are always going on about losing weight, but I wish people would stop and think about thin people for once. People today are very aware of AIDS and other diseases, and to see somebody skinny, automatically they think there's something wrong with us. And skinny people don't have a good time. I wouldn't know about that, but... I'm sure you're right. Ronald Ronald anyway, of Peterborough, thinks that fat girls are nice because it's like lying next to a live pillow. I see. Not only that, but they are less likely to run off with another man. I don't know if that's the right reason. The Reverend Unseemly Dog's Posture from Harrow, who contributes to this programme quite regularly, says, I object to Jehovah's Witnesses. Whenever I get the chance, I pull them in off the street and give them boring lectures about potassium-argon dating techniques. I myself am a Jehovah's bystander. We believe very much the same, but just don't want to get involved. Very good. Thank you very much indeed. Right, those are some of the letters. Are we going to do the competition here or not?
Yes.
We do, don't we, actually? Do you remember the competition last week? What was the competition last week? Do you remember?
Video.
Yeah. I've got more of these watches to give away, actually. I was trying to give as many as we could away. Where's Arthur? Hello? Got a shot. Arthur? Hang on, because Arthur's always... Arthur, you haven't got a watch, have you? No, come a bit closer. Arthur actually looks what? No, we're not on air. Arthur, come here a minute, okay? Just don't drop it, all right? That's for you. Don't say I never give you anything.
Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. Now, the fabulous collection of Keep Fit, Keep Trim videos. We're going to have a little look at some of these videos. How many pounds in a stone? Well, you're quite right, 14. Thousands and thousands of you came through to say that. The winner, though, is Karen Hunt from Forest Hill in London, and she's going to enjoy lugging this lot about. Did we get a shot of that?
No.
Why not?
Magic.
Okay, fine, right. What are we going to do now? Are we going to take a break? Yeah, okay, we're going to... Yeah, I think, hang on, excuse me, just a minute, okay.
Yeah, we'll take a break. We'll take a break.
I think we should take a break because it's probably about time we should take a break. Okay, we'll take a break, okay? Come back in a few moments. Now, I don't know which one of these we're doing it on, but because this is the last in the present series, we're all out of work, and not only myself, but the rest of the team, we are desperate for things to do. I decided that I would just have a little go at bingo, because I know there are a lot of bingo clubs out there who may like a guest bingo caller or a filler in during... I've got the whale jacket that Screaming Lord Sutch gave me a few months ago on the show. You know, it's quite nice. They're admiring it down here. We've got Patrick, Anne and David. So this is probably the first time it's been done on television, but we're going to have a game of bingo. The audience are ready, aren't they? Yeah. Good. Okay, eyes down, off we go. Got some marvellous prizes. First number, 5 and 7, 57. And it goes in that hole there. David, let me ask you, because I want to get back to doing the interview as we do this as well. When you first go over, when you've died, when we all go 3 and 7, 37, when we go over there, mark your bingo card.
I haven't got that either.
You haven't got any? Okay, fine.
Get on with the bingo.
Yeah. What are we first going to be struck? I mean, we all think we're going to die and nothing else will happen. A lot of us think that. Yeah, I don't think that.
In that case, you'll be in for one hell of a shock.
2 and 5, 25.
I haven't got that either. People who expect nothing will basically get nothing, but they are in for one heck of a shock when they get over there.
4 and 6, 46.
You mentioned Jehovah's Witnesses earlier, and they don't expect anything, but when they pass over and wake up dead, so to speak...
2 and 7, 27.
I've got that.
You've got that? Good. Okay.
They are in for a shock then.
Can you describe for us? I mean, I believe that the Lord actually decides the way we go, and our lives are mapped out to a great extent.
No, they're not. You're given your own free will to live your life the way you want to live it.
Yeah.
If you want to be a bingo caller, you carry on.
I want to be on the TV, but you know, it's coming. 1 and 1, 11.
I haven't got that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm interested tonight because it's not often. I wanted to do this. It's not often that you get one of the Son of God's, whatever, playing bingo on TV. Excuse me just a minute. Would you shut up? Who are you? For goodness sake. Do I have any more outbursts from you, sir? You're the sort of person that's keeping me off peak time television. You just shut your mouth. Sorry.
Get on with the bingo.
Okay. 5 and 4, 54. No. Sorry, where were we, David?
People in England,
4 and 2, 42.
Not being very spiritual, have no idea of eternity. I think that's why they invented cricket, to give us some ideas.
You see, when I read your book, you're sort of talking in parables, and I think you nicked that off the Bible, 2 and 6, 26.
I haven't got that either.
You haven't got that either? I think you nicked that off the Bible. You're trying to talk in sort of modern-day parables. You're basing yourself on Jesus Christ.
I tell you what, most houses in Britain today have got a Bible. But how many people read it?
6 and 5, 65.
I've got that. And out of those who do, hang on,
yeah.
And out of those who do, how many people understand it? How many people believe it?
You say you don't think the Bible's very well written in your book?
It's not very well written. It's full of fairy stories.
What does your boss say about that?
He says, what was that one, sorry?
6 and 8, 68.
No, I haven't got that. He said,
sorry, it's 8 and 9, 89. I had it around the wrong way.
He sent me here to put the record straight.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm trying to do. And I tell you what, my book's a lot easier to read than the Bible.
It is, I must admit, it's in big printing, and I like that in a book. You can see it. 2 and 3, 23.
No, I haven't got that.
Which plane are you on? Because there are 7 planes down below.
Well, at the moment, I'm on the Earth plane. This is a plane of existence in itself. Yeah. But when I go home, I don't mean home to Wales, but when I leave this world, I will go back to heaven. That is from where I came from.
Yeah.
Which is the highest
5
plane.
and 5, 55.
But yes. I have spent what was that, 155?
Yeah.
No, I haven't got that.
Yeah.
But I've spent a time, I visit all planes. At the moment, I'm just visiting here. I will be here for a while.
If you wanted for this weekend, could you go to another plane? I mean, could you go down for the weekend?
I'd rather go up.
But you do go down because you encourage people to come up, don't you?
If I can.
Yeah.
And some people from the Earth will be going down.
What sort of people are down there? 4 and 7, 47.
I think you'll be in good company.
Thank you. I see. All right, fine, thanks. Patrick, I mean, do you believe this or not?
To a certain degree, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. Oh, I'm glad about that. Okay, right. All the 7, 77. Yeah.
Yes, I've got it. I'm sorry.
I'm glad you got something. Tell me, you roll your own, don't you? 5-0 blind 50. No. There we are. 5-0 blind 50. You roll your own, Anne, don't you?
Roll my own what?
Well, rolling. I don't know what else. I was told cigarettes, but anything else you want to talk about, feel free.
Yes, I roll my own cigarettes. Yeah. Is this interesting to people?
Well, I think so. I mean, is it affectation, or do you do it because you like the...
it's total affectation.
It is. Oh,
yeah,
I believe in that. I believe in that. Number 3, on its own, number 3.
Oh, I've got that.
You've got that? Okay, I'm a bit bored with this now, actually. But listen, if there is anybody, sorry, if there is anybody out there, we come together with the equipment.
House.
Gordon, could you check that? We'll listen to some of the calls from last week. Sorry about this.
Oh yeah, James. I think that big fat woman that was on telly was extremely gorgeous, and I'd like to see more of them on telly. She was really nice.
I don't think fat people should be allowed on buses. They take up too much room, and if the bus is full, you just can't sit down. I think it's a disgrace.
I love fat women.
James looks cute as he is. He doesn't need to diet. I'd like to see Gary Lineker because I think he's a bit of trumpet. And you look like my dad.
Gary Bushell is quite leery in the Old Sun newspaper, isn't he? He says what he wants to say. Get him on live TV, though. He doesn't know what to say, does he? He keeps quite quiet. So well done, James.
I'm a corkscrew.
Oh, don't tell me this is the last episode. Oh, no, I don't know what I'm going to do now.
Take care of yourselves now. Bye.
Yeah, welcome to the show. We're talking about the end of the world tonight, and let's talk to Derek from Bradford. Hello, Derek.
Hello, James.
Yes, Derek.
Well, the thing is that we talk about the end of the world. You know, Mother Shipton said, you know, the end was supposed to come down about what?
Mother Shipton was a silly old cow, basically, who lived in a rather smelly well in the middle of North Yorkshire.
Yeah, true enough.
Fine, okay. Alex from London. Hello, Alex.
Hello. I'd like to ask David, are you afraid of death, and what are your views on religion?
I am of no religion because God is of no religion. The world has many hundreds of thousands of religions, but there is only one God, so I don't want to be a part of religion. Am I afraid of death? Well, of course, the answer is no. I look forward to going home. That doesn't mean I'm going to jump off the pier tomorrow. I'm here to do a job of work, but when my time's up, I'll be glad to go home.
Let me ask a question. Sorry, Alex, to butt into your call. Why is it that God seems hell-bent on destroying this planet himself? I mean, surely... No, quite the opposite. There can be absolutely no excuse for the sort of suffering that he's causing to innocent people, mainly children in Africa today.
God is not making anyone suffer. The trouble with the world today is what man is doing to the world today.
But surely God is all powerful. He could come in and he could stop that.
God gave man their own free will, and this is very important. God will not make you do anything. If you want to go out and rape or kill or whatever, you can do that.
I know all that.
And what I'm saying is the troubles in the world today are man-made.
Why won't he stop it?
Because he put us onto the earth to run it the way, as his representatives, if you will.
I mean, you talked before that he sits up there looking down on us, and is he having a bit of a laugh about the cock-up that we're making?
He's not very happy the way people are living their lives. He is not at all happy. Most people leaving this earth plane are going straight down to the pits, as we have been talking about tonight.
Why aren't you being taken and put up, you know, why isn't the highest in the land, whoever that might be? Well, yeah, I suppose you are, you're with me. I mean, why are the populace not taking you seriously? Why are they not flocking to you in millions?
They will.
When will they do this?
They will. Because the time will come when they will have to sit up and take notice. At the moment, people find it rather amusing, I think, sometimes.
Well, you're an amusing person.
The time will come when they will not find it amusing. The time will come when everyone will face the end of this life.
Well, tell me,
the time will come, James,
in the Bible, God says, beware of the false Messiah. Now, how do we know that you are not the... I mean, you're saying things here. I assume that if the Son of God came here, we would know. Is that right? I mean, I think we would know. We would know, wouldn't we?
He wasn't recognised last time. Prophets down the ages, and you only have to read your history books or the Bible, that spiritually inspired and gifted people have been coming and visiting this earth for centuries and centuries. And every time they have been persecuted, mocked, scorned, and even killed, and usually by the orthodox religious leaders of the day. Even Jesus himself was persecuted by the religious leaders of the day. And he said 2,000 years ago, they are the blind leading the blind.
So what can we do? Here we are. Most of the trouble spots we flashed up on the screens earlier are caused by religion. Most of them are caused by people saying our religion is better than yours.
I agree with you. Most of the wars fought in the earth today are in the name of religion. And I think that fighting in the name of Christianity is hypocritical. It's like bonking in the name of virginity.
Can you say that?
It just doesn't make sense.
I don't know if you should be saying that sort of thing. Alex, are you there? No, okay, we're going to send Alex a watch. I want to send Alex a watch. Patrick, If you want to contribute, feel free.
Yes,
all right. I mean, and
yeah.
feel free. Also, and if you feel you want to, fine, good,
I
okay.
just want to set the table.
Adrian from Saddleworth. Hello, Adrian.
Hello, James.
Yes, Adrian.
I just want to say I have a 16-month-old son, James.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed this is your last show in the series.
Well, listen, I'm disappointed, but you know, hopefully, if the world is still here, we'll be back.
Well, he hopes so. He wants
Well, listen,
to be going to see
have
you
one of
again.
these. Have one of these tickers. To all right, give that one to Adrian, because I think if you live in Saddleworth, you deserve a prize anyway. Graham from Chesterfield. Hello, Graham.
Hello.
Yes, Graham.
Hello, James.
Yes, Graham.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things to say.
Okay.
The first thing I'd say is I would dye John Major's hair.
You'd what?
Dye John Major's hair because it's so grey.
I know what you're talking about. Never mind. Matthew. One last call. Matthew from Swansea. Hello, Matthew.
Hello there, James.
Yes, Matthew.
This David chap is an awfully strange boy. I mean, stating off cricket, I mean, not does he just think he's an angel or the son of God or anything, but to slag off an Englishman's favourite game is really a...
Thank you, Matthew. What a prat you are. I've got a few quotes here, David. Bernard Manning said that on the imminent destruction of the planet, thank God this has happened. I was working in a club in Glasgow next week. Tom Robinson says he'd like to go out with, excuse me, just a minute, yeah. He'd like to go out with a bang, but wouldn't say who with. And Cliff Richard's office replied saying the timing is most inconvenient as Cliff is rehearsing for a world tour, which is a bit bad, really, isn't it? And all right, said Fred, they said they were too sexy for this world anyway.
I think if it goes out with a bang, I want to sleep in the cosmic damp patch.
Do we believe David is possibly the Son of God or not? It's an interesting thought, David. You will have to continue, but as you did quite rightly say, I mean, we don't know whether you're wrong, I mean, or not. As you said, the first Christ was ridiculed and
I am happy to be given the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. You've been given the opportunity to speak.
Will listen.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you all. Patrick, and thank you. That's the end of this programme. That's the end of this series. And I'm a bit sad, really. I'm quite upset, to be quite honest with you. But if the world is here, we hope to be back later on this year. In the meantime, we're going to leave you with the fantastic sound of the Gospel Choir. And it's this is a song that perhaps offers a little bit of hope for the world. Okay, so join us with the New Testament Church of God Gospel Choir and Hope for the World. Goodbye.
Although the circumstances around us may cause certain dismay, and oftentimes we wonder why, and if it was to be this way. There is hunger all over the land, and we're fighting our fellow men, pulling each other down, only to lose what might have been found. But now we ask this question: is there any hope for the world in its condition? We're at the end, the rope. It seems that all of our efforts to restore the world of love have fallen short of measure, and only God above can change the world. Change the world. In our foreign land, peace is nowhere to be found, and war is on the uprise. and our nation is on its way down. No jobs to kill missing child are the headlines of today. And broken homes are many, we cannot find the words to say. Still yet remains this question: is there any hope for the world in its condition, where at the end the road, it seems that all of our efforts to restore the world of love have fallen short of measure, and only God above can change the world, change the world. Yes, there's hope for the world, an answer for the world. No need to worry or doubt. It's the work out. No need to give up our hope. Sure as there is God, there is hope. There is hope for the world, an answer for the world. No need to worry or doubt. It's the work out. No need to give up our hope. Sure as there is God, there is hope. There is hope. There is hope for you, my friend. There is hope. Yes, there's hope for you. Sure as there is God, there is